Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about Rocket Money. It's the start of a new year. It's the perfect time to get organized, set your goals, prioritize what matters most. And for me, top priority is getting myself together here. Financial wellness, doing that, which that feels important, you know? Just feels like adult stuff that you have to do. And thanks to Rocket Money, my goals feel achievable now. They show me all my subscriptions in one place, help me easily cancel ones I forgot that I've been paying for, which happened to me. Absolutely happened to me. I had, for years, I was paying for something. I was like, what is going on here? Rocket Money found it and saved me lots of money since then, because it's been a while. So they did a great job here. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder today. That's rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder. rocketmoney.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hi, I'm Ashley Flowers, and if you're like me and grew up watching America's Most Wanted and reading Nancy Drew, then hi, you're a crime junkie. And I bet that passion for solving mysteries never went away, which is why we've assembled a team of reporters to dig deep into all the cases we still obsess over. Each Monday, my best friend Britt and I will bring you a case that you won't be able to stop thinking and talking about. So join us by listening to Crime Junkie wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder Express.
Yeah, and choo-choo.
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy, yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us all aboard the murder train, pulling away from the station. Let's do this. We have a crazy show for you today. As usual, obviously, we're not going to have an hour-long murder show that isn't completely bonkers. Very quickly, before we get to that, shutupandgivememurder.com is where you get tickets for all your live shows. May the 5th, Detroit. Come out, Detroit.
Let's go, Detroit.
May the 6th, Pittsburgh. Bring it on, Pittsburgh. Let's go. And then also, pretty much everything else is sold out till August 12th, Chicago. Come on down. We have no Milwaukee show this year, unfortunately. So Milwaukee people, come on down. We'll have a ball in Chicago. We were going to party. Let's get it on and do that. And tickets for the larger Salt Lake venue are going on sale very soon, I found out. So that's happening as well. Shutupandgivememurder.com. New merch is up too. Get in there right now. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all of the bonus stuff. Anybody $5 or above. Tons of back catalog of bonus material. And, of course, 2 new episodes every other week. This week, what you're going to get for crime and sports, which you'll have access to, of course, you are going to get personal ads. It's that time again. Oh, baby. See how people in the 80s tried to sell themselves to a potential lover through the newspaper. It's amazing.
80s desperation. Let's remember.
Oh, man. And speaking of desperation, we are for Small Town Murder. We're going to continue our serial killer childhood series.
Fuck yeah.
Pick that back up again. And we're going to talk about BTK and his childhood, pretty much in his own words. And it is so creepy and weird, like everything else he says. So definitely get in there. That is patreon.com/crime and sports. And of course, you definitely want to keep an eye out coming in the next month or so for the new show, Your Stupid Opinions, where we take people's stupid opinions from all over the internet, reviews of everything you can imagine, and we make fun of them. Coming very soon, so keep an eye out for that. That said, I think it's time, everybody, to sit back. Yeah, that's right. Where are you right now? Let's see. What are you doing? You working you working at the grocery store? You checking somebody out? Yeah. What are they doing? What are they putting across? Something disgusting?
What is that?
What do they got? Like a big thing of liver? Yeah. You take that liver, you look them dead in the eye, you smack them right in the face with the liver, and you shout, "Shut up and give me murder." All right, let's do this, Jimmy.
Okay.
Let's go on a trip, shall we?
Yes.
All right, let's get it on. We are going all the way to Connecticut from Alaska, which was our last episode, which was it's a long way. Yeah. This is Niantic, Connecticut is the name of it. Niantic, Niantic. Okay. It is in south central eastern kind of Connecticut, over that direction. It's south, right on the Long Island Sound there, in southern Connecticut, so on the water. Okay. So Connecticut... Connecticut Beach.
Very accessible. Beautiful.
It's a nice area. It's pretty, actually. It's actually the village of Niantic is actually technically inside East Lyme, which we did years ago. The East Lyme episode, which that was like rural East Lyme, like on the other side. So
where the disease is from.
Yeah, this is a different area here. Yeah. So this town, population 3,240. So it's like a little it's a little village is what it is. Hey. And it's kind of a pretty little place. Median household income here, $72,986.
Well, they're doing great.
So yeah, doing better than the national average. And median home cost also more expensive though. Yeah. $387,900 for that, which is
Welcome
well above.
To Connecticut.
Which also you're right by the water. So basically, if you want to live by water, it costs money. That's the way it works. Yeah. So quick history of this town. Not much of a history, but because we talked about East Lyme before, but it's on the Long Island Sound, like we said. So the Millstone Nuclear Power Plant is visible on the bay's eastern horizon line. So you can go for a nice romantic stroll on the beach and hold your sweetheart's hand, really, and gaze out upon it and say, wow, look at the wonder of the nuclear power plant, the Millstone Nuclear Power Plant.
Is that a sunrise or just millstone glowing?
Boy, look at that. Yeah. I like how the sun is rising. It looks nice and orange and pretty, and then that's also orange over here for some reason. Having a meltdown.
You got a little green in the sunrise. That's nice.
Yeah, that's what I like to see. Niantic was once famous for its Niantic River scallops.
What?
I'm not eating anything that came out of the waters of Connecticut, first of all. I'm not.
I'm not eating any river food.
I'm not eating river scallops. No. I'll eat a salmon. That goes in a river. I'll eat a trout in a river.
Trout, maybe, yeah.
They move. Scallops are just hanging out in the river. I'm not doing that.
River scallops. I didn't know that was a thing.
Ugh, that sounds like y'all want a river scallop, and you'd be like, no. God, is that like slang? Does that mean balls? Is that a slang for some kind of balls? Like a mountain oyster? Is that the same thing? A river scallop? Is that an East Coast goat ball? What are you trying to pull over on me, son of a bitch? So
river scallops. They're squirrel's nuts.
God, yeah, something shit like that. Possum balls. But the scallop population's been in decline for a number of years. I don't know, maybe from the nearby nuclear power plant, possibly.
Yeah. Or someone's got a hell of an appetite.
Oh, man, someone's real hungry for those river scallops. So here's some reviews of this town quickly.
Okay.
Here's 5 stars. They love it. Yeah. They love it. Niantic is a very small, quaint little town on the shoreline of Connecticut. It is a little more expensive to live there because it's directly on the water with multiple beach options and a gorgeous mile-long boardwalk along the beach where you can gaze upon the nuclear power plant. You can't ever forget that part. You just can't.
The power plant ruins everything.
It just ruins the view of every time you're talking about the beach, you got to go, oh, well, you can see the power plant out there. Yeah. Here's 5 stars again. Niantic is an adorable, quaint little town in a nook of East Lyme. It's a nook. It's so quaint, it's in a nook, Jimmy. Wow. That's quaint.
How do you ruin Connecticut? You have Lyme, that's disease, and then you have a nuclear power plant.
Yep, there you go. Come to the beach.
The worst part of Connecticut.
Man, while the town is small, the events Niantic holds are larger than life.
Oh?
We'll be the judge of that on things to do.
Yeah,
See,
we got you.
You can judge how larger than life these events are, because they're not very larger than life. All right, now here, those are 2 5-stars. Let's do the 1-star now. Here's a 1-star review. This person, very upset with this town, completely pissed off. 1 star, Niantic is a village, not a town.
Okay.
That's the first sentence. Listen, right away, fuck you, okay? Since someone submitted our village as being the happiest in Connecticut a few years ago, our village is now ruined.
Oh, goddamn. Instagram ruined another thing.
Now it's not happy anymore. We are inundated with mind-boggling, massive amounts of people and traffic in the spring and summer and fall that makes traveling down or near Main Street almost impossible.
Oh, God.
Best to be avoided. The beaches are now overwhelmingly overcrowded, prices have skyrocketed, and the quality of life has plummeted. Oh, my God. Crime has noticeably increased while continuing vandalism and disrespect of our village. We even have registered sex offenders now that are Listen to the explanation of why all of a sudden there's registered sex offenders there. Okay. We even have registered sex offenders now that are drawn in by the herds of people with small children that flock there. It's catnip, Jimmy. This is one that's so funny that Jimmy had to take his glasses off because they're fogging up and tears are flowing from his eyes. This is the same reaction I had minus the glasses at 4 o'clock in the morning last night reading this. I'm like, what? The herds of people with small children that flock there? I just picture a bunch of pesty guys around the edges just like, hey, kids, how you doing? Constantly trying to... Wow.
Who voted it the happiest place? Just somewhere on the internet?
Not this person, I'll tell you that. Holy shit. I would not go into the water in the Niantic Bay. I wouldn't go in any of the water over here. The neighboring nuclear power plant releases waste into the water and constantly tests the air around the beaches. A little radioactive discharge for the kiddies.
What?
It's a very nice review there. I don't know how seriously to take that, though, because they're saying that, you know, this place is catnip for sex offenders because there's
sex offenders out there with a lollipop on a fishing pole.
Oh, man. Fucking and clown makeup with but regular clothes, just clown face makeup with a lollipop on a fishing pole. The fishing pole,
so much.
The fishing pole, by the way, is anchored in their zipper. Yeah. That's where they put the base of it. So things to do here besides fend off sex offenders with a stick. Besides that, this is the earth, the greatest things that the person said here. Annual Niantic Outdoor Art and Craft Show.
Okay.
Yeah. There's over 160 vendors, painting, sculptures, carvings, photographs, pottery, jewelry, and other beautiful handmade items.
Oh, boy.
That's it. Oh, and
that's all they got?
That's the festival. Oh, and they have Captain Scott's Lobster Dock will be there as well, selling food.
Come look at the shit that we made and also have a lobster roll.
Yeah, and then there's the Niantic Bay Oyster Festival, which I would absolutely
get into that.
Yeah. Let your stomach lead the way as you enjoy local oyster vendors, a variety of food vendors, and beer from local breweries, plus live music and a kids' corner. Admission to the festival is free. So
it better be.
There's going to be great bands there, if the admission is free, and you have to buy tickets for everything, and the prices are weird. It's very strange.
How big are those oysters?
I hope not as big as the ones in Seattle that we were eating.
Jesus Christ.
Those things are, wow, they were a mouthful.
Need a knife and fork.
You do. Those were wild.
3 bites apiece.
Holy shit. And they also have the Walsh Waffle Wagon will be there.
I could... What?
sounds
like
sexual for some reason.
Yeah, it does.
The Walsh Waffle Wagon sounds sexual.
Too many W's.
Yeah, it sounds like there's going to be jizz involved, and I don't like that. That said, let's talk about a murder after those world-class events that that person talked about. Let's do this, Jimmy. Let us talk about a man first, okay? Let's talk about this man, Edward R. Sherman.
Okay.
Sherman here. He is born in 1944. He's a very smart fellow, brainy.
Yeah.
He is a member of Mensa, which is for high IQ people.
I've heard of those
do
people.
that. Yep. He's a member of that. Very smart guy. He's got some problems, old Ed. Ed's a freak. I guess it wouldn't be a problem for him to be a little freaky on the sexual side, but he's got other issues that bleed into that. That's not his issue. He's married briefly, like when he's like 17, 18 years old. He's in Chicago when he gets married, but the marriage is annulled after less than a month after Edward assaults the woman.
Oh, Ed.
Ed, he's like a teenager assaulting his bride.
Why are you punching, lady?
Jesus,
You're so young.
I don't remember that in that song from the Pulp Fiction soundtrack. It was a teenage wedding, and Ed punched her in the face. I don't remember that part. Do you?
No. Usually the teenage weddings, if they get annulled, it's just you recognize that this is stupid.
Yeah, what did we do? Oh, my God, we're married?
Boy, did we make a mistake.
You want me to have your last name? This is crazy.
I got to do paperwork. This is
fuck
nuts.
this, man. I'm not doing. Yeah, no, this is a quick annulment. He also, in the mid-'70s, he's going to get married again in 1968, late 1968. So, I mean, he's only 24 at that point. He's already had a marriage annulled due to domestic violence. He's going to have a wife here named Ellen, who he marries in 1968. Okay? She's 3 years younger than him. Now, he also is apparently arrested in the mid-'70s for choking a woman.
Ed, what's the deal, buddy?
I don't know. And the reason he's choking a woman who's not his wife, first of all, who are you choking?
Yeah,
Not that you should choke your wife, obviously, but you're choking. It's like of course, if she's begging for it, that's a different story. But if she needs it to come, that's different. We're talking about an unwanted
on the street. This is nuts.
Well, I think it was one of his girlfriends because Ed and Ellen have a swinging kind of 70s marriage. They have they do some wife swapping. They go to like sex clubs and because I mean, out there it's a couple hours to New York. You can come into New York. There's some sex clubs you could do back in the day, and 70s were disgusting. It was one big waffle wagon back then. You know what I mean? It was one giant waffle wagon the whole decade. Just soaked.
Batter as far as you can see.
You could wring it out of it. You could actually which I don't recommend. So gross. So they would hook up with different people. They would swap with couples. They would do whatever freaky 70s shit you can think of that people did when they were married in the 70s.
Whatever you're into.
They do have a daughter in 1973. They have a daughter. Starting at about 75 or 76, though, they start having a lot of problems, Ed and Ellen. Now, I don't know if that has to do with him being arrested for choking outside women. I'm not sure, because I don't know how I would explain that to the wife. That's a tough one to explain to the wife. You know what I mean?
The addition of a baby certainly complicates things.
You put a baby into the mix as well, and maybe because Ellen was going along with all the swinging stuff, but who knows if once she had a baby, she was like, "Hey, let's chill the fuck out for a while," and he was like, "No, I have to choke some strange. I just have to." Not sure, really not. So they still do really well though in terms of for all public appearances. She runs a graphics/advertising business. She makes very good money. He makes good money. They do well materially. Definitely here. He also, he's doing well. He's a teacher at the local community college, and then he has side businesses too. So they appeared to be, everything looked great. They live near the entrance to the Black Point Beach Club and community, which is a quiet, exclusive section of town right on the shoreline. So they're living a pretty idyllic life here,
Sounds like it.
minus the choking of of strangers. They're doing well. They own Ad Graphics, which is an advertising and design studio in East Lyme. That's what the wife owns, and he works there too sometimes. But Ed is constantly, even when they're not. Here's the thing: Ellen will do the wife swapping. She'll do sex parties. She'll do orgies. She'll do all the shit. She's a gamer, let's say. She's definitely a gamer. Ed still fucks around, though, outside of this. That's not enough for him.
How much is this appetite?
Dude, that's have that not be enough. What do you must think if you're Ellen? Like, I let you do all this crazy shit. I did this in front of you. We've been doing all this weird stuff and whatever. It's fine. And now that's not even enough. You have to fuck people. I let you fuck people. You have to do it behind my back too.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Wow,
that is shitty.
That's a high sex drive too. For Christ's sake, man.
It's extremely high. Because they had a sex life, and then on top of that, they had one together with outsiders, and then he's got his own.
And he's got his alone outside.
Now, for a while, Ellen didn't really seem to mind because he would encourage her to have affairs as well. Yeah, he'd be like, "Yeah, you find a guy too. Yeah, go ahead. So I don't care."
Feel guilty and shitty.
That way he can do what he wants too. She had affairs with at least 3 men that we know about, where she had she was seeing them for a while. Yeah. One of the men was their mutual friend.
Oh yeah, that works well.
Ed's fishing buddy, Len Fredrickson.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. So fuck Len. He's a nice guy. He baits a hook like nobody's business. Let me tell you something. You really want to. I recommend him.
I've seen him reel some big ones.
I recommend him, is all I'm going to say. I could bring in a marlin. So, so she would do that on her own as well. His main squeeze on the side by the early 80s is a woman named Nancy Prescott. And they get so close that Ed knocks her up in about 1984.
Stop it.
Oh, yeah. She gets pregnant, which is...
How are you? Oh.
That's the stick in the spokes of the whole swinging lifestyle is when some outside... oh, shit, now what do we do? Oh, no. This was all fun and games until... Oh, no, this is bad.
Now we have other children involved. God damn it.
Not good. So Nancy wanted Ed to leave Ellen and be with her. So at the same time, Ellen is saying, let's redouble our relationship here, and you can't be having
focused.
Knocking somebody up out of their marriage, I think, woke her up to hey, hold on a minute here, this is getting out of hand. So by June 1985, here they're having a bit of a problem. She knows about Nancy had a baby. That's an issue, obviously. She found Ed in bed over at her house as well. He said he stopped seeing Nancy, and then she went over and busted it and found them in bed together. So that wasn't great. And at the same time, Nancy is pregnant as well.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So this is
all... his third kid now.
Yeah, this is going to be his third kid. So now, not Nancy, Ellen's pregnant. I'm sorry. Nancy already had the baby.
Nancy already had the baby,
yeah,
right.
Ellen's pregnant now. So Ellen gets pregnant, too, in 1985. So now he's got the new baby. He's got a 12-year-old. He's got another one with his wife coming here.
God.
So, but now they had gotten in a huge fight, and she wanted to throw him out in June of 1985 when she caught him in bed with Nancy again.
Right.
But then apparently after a while he started telling his friends that she was just she's accepted the affair, just that it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And, there you go. So
it'll be fine.
Yeah. This is after both women were putting pressure to end the other relationships, obviously. Yeah, as one would do.
You divorce her, and the other one's saying, you stop fucking her.
Exactly. So Edward was juggling the two of them and all that. So she actually told, during the June 85 fiasco, when they were going to get a divorce, she had told Len Fredrickson, her old buddy there, and his old buddy, that she had a good job. She had a graphic design business that she owned and ran. She'd get the house. She'd get the kid and child support. So what the fuck? Why not? I'll leave this fucking guy if he's not going to stop banging Nancy.
For a member of Mensa, he's pretty fucking dumb.
Oh, it gets dumber. Trust me.
Yeah.
So by August 1985, everything seems resolved. Okay, he is back home because he had like moved out and shit. She packed up all his shit and told him to get out. But by July, he had come back to the house, was living there, and by all outside appearances, everything seems to be fine in the marriage. She's 5 months pregnant, and he's living back at home, and everything's okay. That's by the 1st of August. She's 5.5 months pregnant. So that's where we are. August 5th, 1985. Okay? Yeah. It is Ed's 42nd birthday.
Hey, happy birthday, Ed.
Hey, Ed. So Ed is about to go out on a fishing trip this day. He's decided the daughter is at an overnight camp, and so he's going to go on his fishing trip for his birthday with his buddies and all that kind of shit. So he says that from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. that day, he and his wife, quote, cuddled on their bed and shared a chocolate chip milkshake.
That was fucking involved.
I was going to say, that's code.
Yeah.
That's code for a specific sex act, I feel, right? Very specific sex act. We shared a chocolate chip milkshake, if you know what I mean. And the cop's like, I really don't. But I don't know.
The chocolate chip milkshake has a name and a job and a social security number.
I have an idea of what that would be, and it's the grossest thing I can think of, and I don't want to describe it to you at all. I don't want to turn off the entire listenership, but that is, I can picture it. So everybody out there in the groups and such, guess what that might be.
Yours.
Yeah, make up what a chocolate chip milkshake would be. I have my ideas. You have your ideas. Jimmy has his ideas. So he then leaves the house, he says, at 6:30 to run some errands before the trip. You got to pick some stuff up. It's like a 4-day fishing trip. You
need ice and beer.
You need
more ice and more beer.
More beer, maybe some extra line if you feel like actually fishing. One of the guys on the sailing trip is going to be Wayne LeBrun. He runs a hardware store in Niantic, and Ed came by the store between 9:30 and 10 a.m., that day earlier before the chocolate chip milkshake, quote unquote, on that day. On the way in, he chatted with Wayne's daughter, Heather, who was helping out over high school vacation. She's in there doing that. She said, quote, he looked a little nervous and his clothes weren't as neat and perfect as they usually were. It was unusual to see Ed wearing a wrinkled shirt with sleeves rolled up. But I mean, it's the morning of that he's going on a sailing trip that night. Right. So like, why would he be dressed up in the morning? It's a Sunday.
He looks scummy now. Wait till he has salmon guts all over his shirt.
It's a Sunday at 10 a.m. and he's planning on leaving that night for the fishing trip. So why would he be all dressed up? There'd be no reason for that.
Church, for Christ's sake.
That's what I'm saying. So he's the Church of Fishing is where he's going.
Church of Jesus Trout.
Church of the Long Island Sound. Actually, he's going up to Maine, actually. So, yeah, that's some good stuff up there. Fuck. So Heather said she and Ed frequently compared, they would talk about movies all the time. Because I guess Ed was a big movie buff, and Heather, the teenager, saw like every movie. So
awesome.
They would talk about movies.
In the 80s? That's great.
In the 80s, yeah, because you're talking about videos, and now there's rentals going on. She said she recalled they were talking about the movie Blackout that day. And Blackout had aired very recently, just about a week earlier on HBO. We'll talk about the movie, but it first aired. It was one of the first ones that HBO did where it was made by HBO Studios and they released it on HBO for a weekend before the theatrical release.
Beautiful.
So they did that. Yeah. So it was one of those. They were experimenting with that. This is in 85. It's a movie called Blackout. And in this movie, the thing is a guy kills his wife. I'll give you the plot, but he uses an air conditioner in a basement to confuse the time of death, like the Iceman. Freezing bodies and stuff like that. So they talked about that, and she said that Ed said, "Did you see it?" And she said, "What?" And he said, "The movie Blackout." And she said, "Yeah, did you?" And he said, "Yeah." And they said they both liked it. They both said it was pretty good, and that was it because it was a big deal that this movie was coming out. So this is the description here. In the movie here, the bodies of a mother and her 2 young sons were found beaten with a baseball bat, huddled together in the basement. And the basement was cold like a refrigerator because it was a basement with an air conditioner on. They had like a big air conditioner down there. Yeah. The detective in the movie told the reporters that the bodies have been there for about 3 days and an air conditioner had been turned on to slow decomposition, and that was the whole point of the movie. Here's the cover of this movie if you want to roll your chair over here.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
That
It's a
doesn't
cat in
tell
a
me
gimp
what the
mask.
movie's about.
It's a leather gimp mask with the zipper 2/3 undone. He's got a
my God.
very pointy knife, which has nothing to do with beaten by a baseball bat. It's like black with the red with the black.
Yeah.
It's very like it looks sexual.
American Horror Story.
Yeah, it looks sexual and bloody at the same time. It really does.
That does not sound like the description at all.
No, that's what I mean. Not even close. And here's a couple of it's got a 33% from viewers on Rotten Tomatoes here. Here's a couple of reviews of it from the time. With all of its twisting and squirming, Blackout manages to build up a steady stream of scary suspense. The top flight cast, which also includes Michael Beck, gets maximum mileage out of the offbeat pursuit. And here's another one. Unremarkable.
What the fuck that means?
Unremarkable crime thriller is what the other guy said. There we go. Sounds pretty run-of-the-mill to me. Gimp mask, sharp knife. Yeah, I'm seeing what you're doing here. I smell what you're cooking, and I don't like it. So they said that they talked about before the trip, Ed called his friends and said he wanted to make their departure earlier that night. So can we leave earlier? His friend, this is Peterson now, the guy who used to fuck his wife and all that, Len. He said, quote, he was getting anxious and I was getting anxious. I'm all packed and ready to go. And he said, well, let's get underway then. Like two of them were like, well, we're all packed. It sucks when you're waiting to leave, you know? Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch-up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas are. Tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
So Peterson picked Ed up at his home here, at Ed's home, about 7 o'clock. They went and got the rest of the places and set off for Maine in Peterson's station wagon. Mm-hmm. Okay, they said Ed was quiet. He was listening to others joking and shit like that, but they said that's how Ed was. He would listen and all that kind of thing. They get to the dock in Maine about 2 a.m. and spent about 6 hours in a parking lot drinking coffee and waiting until morning until they could take the boat. So they drove out there, even though they can't take the boat till 8. They drove out there in the middle of the night.
And stayed up from 2 to 8.
Just drank coffee in a parking lot. Now,
I admire it. It's a very impressive feat, but that makes me so tired.
Yes, they're very tired. By the way, it wasn't. He was talking to Len, but Len was not coming on the trip. Len isn't coming on the trip. Roger Peterson is coming on the trip. So he's talking to Len. Roger's the one going, another Peterson. He's the guy that organized the trip and picked him up. Okay. They also picked up Henry McDuff and there. Now, when they picked up Henry McDuff on the way up there, Ed said, "Do you mind if I come in and use your phone real quick?"
Okay.
To Henry, to McDuff. And McDuff's wife, Kirsten, was listen to this, was talking to her mother-in-law on the kitchen phone. So Henry said, "Hey, can you cut the call off with my mom?" It gets better. Their daughter's name is Kristen. They're Kirsten and Kristen.
Stop it.
I swear to God, it's too close. It's too close.
You can't do that.
No,
to
you really can't. Either you can name her Kirsten after you if you really want to, but you can't name her Kristen if you're Kirsten. That's terrible.
You can never call your wife by her name ever again. You have to call her babe,
fuck,
okay, ma, anything.
It's so hard to keep. Once there's like a wife, if you throw a kid in the mix, maybe a couple of dogs, you do not know anybody's name anymore.
No.
I haven't gotten one of my dog's names right on the first try in at least a year. At least.
My kids couldn't be more opposite, and I still call them each other's names.
Yes, I call them the dogs' names.
Yeah.
So, anyway, they're talking, and so she does. Kirsten, the wife, said the conversation with my mother-in-law was very important, and I didn't want to get off the phone. How important can a conversation with your mother-in-law on a Sunday night really be? What are you talking about? Yeah. Seriously, what are we doing? Is the nuke plant melting down? You guys are trying to figure out a way to stop it? What are we talking about?
Have the disease?
Yeah, what the fuck? She said, "I was very annoyed." It's like they're on their way out. Let them use the phone for 5 minutes. Who cares? But whatever. But she hung up and passed the phone to Ed here, and she said he got on the phone, he was jabbering, and at the end of the call, she heard him say, "See you soon, I love you, take care." Okay, now the youngest daughter, Kristen, of the McDuffs, she also remembers Ed's call, and she said that she was mad too, quote, "because I asked my mother first if I could use the phone."
God. Jesus.
She was 8 years old at the time. She said, "and back then the first one who asked could use it. Unless you're 8 and an adult needs it." Okay, because nothing you have to talk about's important. Nothing.
Yeah, who are you calling for what? Shut your mouth.
Everything important that happens to you goes through me at this point in time. Like if it's you making a doctor's appointment? Nope, I do that. What are you doing?
He's trading stocks? Then shut the fuck up.
You want to talk to grandma? She's already on the phone. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but you don't need to use the phone at 8 for very much. You just don't.
Mr. Ed, I'm sorry. I have to make a call about this frozen orange juice.
Yeah. So Ed talks on the phone with his wife here, with Ellen, and he said he needed her to do something that he forgot to do, so that's why he had to call her on the way out. Okay. Make sure to turn this off or turn that on or whatever the fuck it was. So now on the next day here, over the next couple days, he's out on the fishing trip, and he tries to call his house, tries to call many times whenever they can get to a phone. He tries to call, and he can't reach her. Mm-hmm. And he's trying to get her he needs her to disconnect a boat battery. And so he's got to get a hold of her to do this, because he's like, if you don't,
the trickle charger,
put it on a tender or whatever. Otherwise, it's going to be dead next time you go to use it. So he couldn't reach her. So the next day he calls Barbara LaValle, who is a friend of Ellen's, and he says, "Hey, Barbara, I can't get a hold of Ellen for a couple days now. I need her to do this, and I don't know what's going on. Would you mind going over there and just making sure everything's okay? Whatever." So she goes to the house and finds some suspicious shit. She goes to knock on the door and then goes to open it because they don't lock their door there.
Oh.
So you go to open it. Usually you knock and then you open it and you go, "Ellen, hi, I'm here." She doesn't answer, and the door's locked. So that's weird. The air conditioner's running and the lights are on. It's May. It's normal for the air conditioner. The lights are on in the house. She said the garbage was out of place. I don't know what that's about. The dog wasn't put away. The dog was wandering the house. So normally if the dog's only wandering if they're around. Otherwise they put him in a kennel or whatever. So
that's why the trash is out of place.
There you go. She became super worried, and she called Len Fredrickson. She didn't want to go into the house because she couldn't get in, and so she called Len Fredrickson and said, "Len, would you come over here and check this out?" So Len agrees that things are a little weird. He breaks into the house finds a way to break in and busts into the house and is looking around and finally heads down to the bedroom, and he finds Ellen down there. She is there, but she is extremely dead, and she's naked and dead.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes, it's pretty rough, too. It's a rough scene. I have pictures. I'm not going to post them on social media because that would be really gross, but I can show them to you afterwards if you want, but I don't want to do it during the show because you're going to get, I don't know, you're not going to like, it's a lot. It's a lot. The neck pictures are rough.
Oh, I can't look at those.
She's been strangled, and it's really rough looking. So, he finds her. The phone rings as he's talking to her. He answers the phone for some reason.
May as well.
Talks on the phone.
Fingerprints in here.
Yeah, talks on the phone for a minute. Might as well disturb the crime scene a bit. And then, after a few minutes, he calls his wife and tells her to call the police.
Dude, you're on the phone.
You're on just 911. You know?
Jesus.
Operator, fucking police, something.
Yeah.
There's a million ways to do it if you don't know the number.
Who called that he answered? It was it
just some random
market or something?
Yeah, who knows, some random person. Oh, I guess Ellen is Ellen there? Sort of. You know,
she is,
kind
but,
of.
I got to make a phone call to my wife. Can you get off this line?
Indisposed would be an understatement, let's just say.
Yeah.
So he said it was extremely cold when he found her in the room here. So he went outside and he waited for the police after that. Now, when he leaves the door open to the bedroom. It was closed. He leaves it open and lets the cool air out because the rest of the house is hot and they have like a room unit. Yeah, one of those. So this changes the temperature of the bedroom a lot because it was a hot, humid day, they said. So police arrive. Len's outside crying when they find him out there. So the medical examiner doesn't get there till 6:57 the next morning. This was 8:40 at night.
Holy.
That's a long time.
10 hours?
10 hours before they can get somebody to take a look at this person here, other than a police officer. So during this also, there was by the detectives, no notation of the setting on the air conditioner by the investigators, nor was the temperature of the room documented or anything like that. So here's the medical examiner's notes, okay, when they entered the room. Yeah. Ellen Sherman lay nude and supine on her bed. Her left leg was straight. The right one was bent at the knee. There was a scrape on one side of her neck, ligature marks on the other. A small amount of bodily fluid had drained from her mouth. Her tongue was protruding and dry. Ellen was 39 years old and pregnant. She wore a yellow bracelet inscribed, quote, "To the world's best partner."
Oh, my.
And she'd been strangled twice.
Really?
Yes. That's the thing where they're like, that's interesting. No injuries consistent with defense wounds, by the way. No fighting back. A broken nail, nothing under the fingers, no fighting back whatsoever, which is strange as well. So during the autopsy, they found bleeding in her neck muscles and cartilage fractured beneath the larynx. So, under there. She'd probably been strangled once by hand and once with something like a piece of clothing, which they're calling a ligature, obviously. They turned something into a ligature. And the medical examiner will say, quote, properly applied, manual strangulation is more efficient. Manually, certain nerves in the neck can be pressed, causing almost instant cardiac arrest. A ligature doesn't hit the nerves. Neither manual nor ligature strangulation cuts off all the airflow. The person dies from being restricted of flow of blood to the brain, not airflow. So now when the detectives are looking at it, they said that the room wasn't frigid when they were in there. It was at normal summer temperature. And the paramedics also didn't keep the doors closed. Nobody did. They just left the door open, and everybody was traipsing in and out and leaving the outside doors open, fucking up the crime scene in general, basically.
Is that generally what strangulation does? Is cuts off blood flow to the brain?
Yeah,
It's not oxygen.
No, because you'd have to crush your windpipe's in there. I mean, you really got to, I
think the common belief is that it's stopping you of breathing,
people
right?
Yeah, that's the thing.
So that's the common belief, but it's not. It's the actual killing of the brain.
It's a sleeper hold, but for realsies. So
I think I just learned that. I definitely did.
Yeah. I mean, you're not breathing well also if someone's choking you real hard.
Yeah.
That's not the thing, but that's not what you can get a little bit. So,
right.
Yeah.
I think that's what everybody believes.
Yeah. Because you say you're choking someone.
Right.
That's like cutting off air supply, but it's different. So
Wow.
that's crazy. So the detectives examining the scene here, the forensic laboratory, they analyzed physical evidence. All the latent fingerprints found in the house belong to either the three members of the Sherman family who lived there and Len, who was in the house anyway. So that's obvious. Trace materials removed from the clothing that was in Ellen's bedroom had no association could be made with anyone other than the Shermans. Laboratory tests on the underwear that they found on the bed next to her showed no traces of semen or blood for serological or DNA analysis. An examination of the bed sheet did reveal the presence of numerous body fluid stains all over the sheet, but no blood stains were noted.
Change your fucking sheets.
Dude, some of these body fluid stains were deposited on top of each other. So this is
boy.
Jizz on jizz on jizz. This is a club sandwich of jizz over here. This is a semen club sandwich, and I don't like it. This is really taking you through the gamut of emotions today.
There is a lot happening today.
Holy shit. With multiple applications in several areas. Applications, like it was put on with a brush. Like someone came in with it. Like someone came in with one of those fucking air sprayers.
Yeah, and somebody came in with a tube of it.
Start.
Somebody caulked the edges with it.
Oh, that's disgusting. The majority of the stains contain semen. This Ed has so much semen in him. It's just he's got to get it out. It's so much.
I can't imagine. Does he just love a limp dick blowjob? He's got to always be sucked and fucked.
Always. The analysis on it indicated that the semen was consistent with coming from Ed. So they're looking at that. The thing that they're talking about, the one detective, Malchik, says that the air conditioner, he said, I thought it was unusual that a body would be left in a bedroom with the air conditioner turned up and the door closed.
Yeah.
It's like, that was weird. So they said maybe did whoever did this turn the air conditioner up to slow the rate of decomposition? And by the way, blackout aired 4 days before this.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. He noticed the machine was turned to not even the top, but 3/4 of the way up. It was at 7.5. Or no, 8 was the coldest. This was at 7.5.
Almost the tip top.
Almost the tip top. So that's an interesting thing. Now, they're trying to figure out what she was strangled with the second time, the ligature. Yeah. What was it? First, they think it's a bra. So they try to figure out if that fits in with the patterns and everything, but they decide it's not the bra. So Dr. Henry Lee, who you might remember from the OJ trial and everything, famous for testifying and his testimony never meaning shit when he's testifying for the defense because he's fucked up so many times that they just bring it up all the times he's fucked up and it doesn't matter anymore. He fucks up a lot. He's the guy who tries to do the footprint shit at the OJ scene and he's the only guy in the world that sees a footprint. There's a lot there. So he
he had his own TV show for a little while too.
Oh yeah. Well,
in Colorado Springs.
This is pretty cool what he does here, though. It's weird but cool. He decided that he thought the ligature was a torn pair of Ellen's blue underwear. So. He said someone ripped them from her waist and twisted them around her neck and strangled her with her own elastic of her own underwear.
Oh, Jesus.
So he tested this theory by repeatedly laundering identical panties to match the wornness of these panties.
Okay.
Just doing more laundry again, just this one pair of panties. I just picture him sitting in front of a dryer as it tumbles and watching one pair of panties.
Or 30 pairs. Watching a whole bunch of them.
No, one pair. It's one pair.
He only did one?
One pair to launder them to get it right. A volunteer wore the laundered panties while another officer tore them away with one hand.
What the fuck is
sexual
this
assault? Imagine this sexual assault experiment in a lab setting. This happened in a laboratory. Now rip her panties off. There we go. All right. Now we got something. Now strangle her with them. No, choke her a little more. Just, touch her boob. Yeah, there we go. Now we're talking. Wait.
I need to know exactly how this happened. Bridget, come here.
Come here a minute. This is disturbing. So, yeah, this is fucking wild. The police release a statement at this time. There's no suspects. We don't know what we're doing here. You know, who the fuck knows?
Henry Lee's doing weird shit.
Henry Lee's doing weird shit. Len is the major suspect at the time.
Yeah.
They figure because he found the body, he left the door open, and he, you know, his fingerprints were there.
Touching everything, yeah.
But he was with people around that the whole time, so that makes no sense. So police fly out to Ed. This is about 12 hours after the body's found. Police are going to fly toward Cape Cod, and they're waiting at Ed and his friends are waiting at a Coast Guard station. They've been notified that this is, you know, all that kind of shit. They said there's an open house at the Coast Guard offices, and they're too crowded. So Malchek took Ed to the Hyannis police station to talk. He gave him his rights, obviously, and Ed, or the detective said, I told him I believed he was involved in the murder of his wife. Okay. I didn't necessarily feel that way. I didn't feel one way or another. It was an interviewing technique. So he's possibly the family member of his wife and unborn child who've been murdered in his home while he went on a fishing trip on his birthday. And your first thought was, I'll accuse him of it. Even though I don't think he did it yet, I'll accuse him of it, which is, wow.
I want to see how this works.
Wow. Imagine if that's you and you didn't kill your wife and they're like, I think you did. I'd be choking him with his own underwear by that point. Yeah. Fuck you, motherfucker. How's that? I'll strangle you.
I'm going to rip your underwear off.
Yeah, you motherfucker. Are you kidding me? So he said that Ed said, well, maybe I should have a lawyer, which again is not the way to get a conversation out of a guy either, other than to go, fuck you. Right. So especially somebody smart. Someone dumb, you could say that because they might want to argue. Somebody smart's going to go, maybe I should have a lawyer.
Right.
And but then he said, that's all right, fine. He changed his mind and agreed to fly back to Connecticut and take a polygraph.
Really?
Yes. They questioned his sailing mates about what they'd seen and all that kind of thing. You know, they said Ed was very emotional, his friends, when he heard about the murder there. You know, they said that the one thing they said when Peterson had picked him up from his house, he was going to go in and say hi to Ellen, and I guess Ed said, oh, no, she's not dressed, so you can't come in. Oh. And Peterson said that was weird. Ellen usually wished us a good trip and a safe trip and, you know, would like wave at the door and they'd say hi and he'd see her every time. So he goes, I don't remember that, her not coming out. That was really weird. So he says, because dinner's going to come up in a big way in terms of what's in her stomach. Ed says that he knew his wife didn't eat dinner before he left that evening. So they asked him if his wife went downstairs and took a shower. He said no. Now, they say that she had linguine with undigested linguine and red clam sauce in her stomach, which is a fine last meal, a very fine choice for a last meal. So, yeah, they're going to talk about that. They do the polygraph here. Ed submits to the lie detector. The Malchek, the detective's watching here. So Ed acknowledges in the lie detector that his marriage was chaotic. He admitted his long-standing affair with Nancy Prescott. He said that Ellen had known that he fathered Nancy's child, Rachel. I guess his child too. He said he was also the father of an unborn boy. The boy who Ellen was carrying at the time. They found out it was a boy. He said that, yes, he had succumbed to Ellen's persistent pleas for another baby on the condition that she would allow him to continue seeing Nancy. So I'll get you pregnant if I can still fuck my girlfriend.
What?
Which is a very strange deal to make with your wife.
Maybe he is a genius.
That's, yeah. I don't know how he figured that out.
How do you even swing that? But who would want that?
That's some shit right there. He told the polygraph operator his relationship with Nancy had soured, and he found himself kind of in a tug of war between the two of them because they're both like, you have, kids. So he told the polygraph operator that he moved out of the house after a quarrel with his wife in June, and then he moved back again, promising to give Nancy up. But despite that promise, he definitely fucked Nancy on July 31st. Which was, a couple days before this happened. They asked him, did he kill his wife? And he said no. The results come up inconclusive.
Well, that's not good.
Which happens all the time. And they asked him to take it again, and his lawyer said, no, you're not taking another fucking polygraph. You took it once. Yeah. You had your fucking fun. That's it now. Yeah. So, yeah, he said he last saw his wife during the polygraph afternoon of August 2nd as he was, that was a Friday, not a Sunday, August 2nd. Okay. Sunday is when she was found. I apologize. And he said he was preparing to leave. He was sitting on the bed in her underwear when he left. That's what he said. And so they said, could he have done it? Well, they said that maybe he could have, because this is crazy. First, the medical examiner says the best that I recall was that the person who opened the door said that it was like opening the door to a refrigerator. Mm-hmm. So the medical examiner and Henry Lee later on decide that it felt like a refrigerator in there, quote unquote. He must mean it was 40 degrees. Like, because that's what a refrigerator is. Okay?
Yeah, but okay.
Yes.
We're going to guess the temperature.
So they said, based on that assumption, they recalculate the murder, the time of death, to between 7 a.m. Thursday and 7 a.m. Saturday. So while Ed was home, before he left for the fishing trip. If based on it being 40 degrees in the room.
40, right.
That's literally the test based on 40 degrees being the set, okay? Now, they said if it was right, it meant that Ed had the opportunity to kill his wife before leaving, but 40 degrees, dude, that's fucking crazy.
To get a room to 40
you
degrees.
You can't get a room to 40
impossible.
degrees. Unless it's 20 degrees outside, you're not getting the room, and you open the windows and turn the air conditioning on, you're not getting a room to 40 fucking degrees.
Or it's a hotel room in the center of the fucking building.
If you have a window air conditioning unit and it's 80 degrees outside and humid, it's never going to get below 65 in there. I promise you that, because I live in fucking the Northeast and have air conditioning units like that. It doesn't get fucking colder than that. That's it. It's as cold as you can get it. So they said on August 5th, the state police surrendered the custody of the Sherman residence back to Ed, and he returned home. So on August 9th, the state police came back and searched it again. They seize a container of linguine and a container of red clam sauce from the refrigerator. All right? Okay. That's going to be interesting later, too, that they bring that up. So they said that the containers of linguine and clam sauce were seized a week after the death and 4 days after the police surrendered the custody back. So who knows when that linguine and clams were in there. Ed could have had linguine and made it fucking last night. That night. They have no idea. So no idea. At the funeral, Ed has to do the funeral here. And, so they go to Long Island, have a funeral out there. And she said that a friend said Ed was just walking around and seemed indifferent. His mother-in-law said that Ed told her, if it will help you any, I didn't do it.
Ed, why would you? What are you doing?
That's fucking wild.
Let's not talk about the cause. Let's just talk about how we're missing her.
Yeah, Barbara LaValle, the woman who was at the house originally and called Len to find the body, Ellen's best friend, said Ed never spoke with her until mid to late August, when he finally called her and said that, and she said he didn't even express any grief. She said he had a lot of odd questions. Quote, first thing he wanted to know was, what the police said to me. He told me that he thought there had been somebody else in the house. He didn't know what the police would find. He asked me several things about what the police had quizzed me about. He asked me if the police had found any fingerprints. So he's going around asking for. That's not good when people are trying to gather intel.
What info do you guys have on this?
Yeah, Fredrickson and LaValle, the two people who found her, said that they became suspicious of Ed and said, I didn't want anything to do with Ed, is what the barber said there. Mm-hmm. So Ellen also, they found, had a book she was writing.
Oh.
She died. She was writing a murder mystery.
Oh, what?
On a 1985 family computer. She was writing that. She was a big mystery buff. She was a member of a murder mystery club. She liked murder shit. She would have been a fan of our show, I think, honestly.
She would have loved us. Yeah.
She would have loved this show. She writing a novel was her big ambition. They don't make the manuscript public, but they say Ellen's plot includes another woman and a locked house. So there's all this type of shit. And so, it's fucking ridiculous. So Nancy Prescott here, it's ridiculous. They try to connect this to something. Yeah. Nancy Prescott, he said that she spoke with Ed about his wife's death many times. They resumed seeing each other after Ellen's death as well.
What?
Oh, yeah. Oh, within the next year, they'll buy a house together.
Oh, my God.
He and Nancy, to live with their daughter, Rachel.
Yeah.
Wow. And Nancy's son from a previous marriage, and Ed and Ellen's daughter, Jessica. So,
my God.
one big happy family. So that's interesting. 1987, years go by, Jimmy. 2 years. They just don't know what to do. Peterson, the one Peterson, he stayed, the one who dropped him, who drove him and went on the fishing trip.
The other one's Fredrickson.
Oh, Fredrickson. Peterson, Fredrickson.
Yeah.
Why do I, that's the same to me.
It's the sun.
It's the sun.
Son.
Yeah.
It's so fucked.
It's the sun. Damn it. Doesn't matter. One was on the trip, one found the body. So this guy, Peterson, not the guy who found the body, stayed friends with Ed. They played racquetball on Saturday mornings. Wow. And, he said that they were eating breakfast, and Ed was bringing up his wife's death like 2 years later, talking about it, asking questions. So as time passes, the detective Malchik retires from the state police, opens up a private investigator business and all that kind of shit. Barbara LaValle, the best friend, moved to Louisiana, became a country western singer, performing under the name Barbie Lane.
Never heard of you. So, you're doing great.
This is ridiculous. This sounds like the end of Animal House, like where we're putting up the things of where people went. A country western singer named Barbie Lane? That's what her friend turned into? What, are you kidding me? Who the fuck does that?
The investigator didn't let this go, though, right? This is his one that he has to fucking solve?
Fredrickson moved to Florida. We'll find out. Mm-hmm. And so did Ellen's mother. They moved to Florida as well. So, Ed lives with Nancy Prescott, who, by the way, he gets in trouble for hitting her at some point in the mid-'80s here, or late 80s when they're living together, but they stay together.
Okay.
1990, New London County State Attorney's Office here. They asked Dr. Henry Lee and the scientists to take another peek at this bad boy and see what they could find, and maybe go over everything with a fine-tooth comb.
Henry, could you rip another pair of panties off a chick and solve this?
Because that was pretty hot, number one. Number two, no, I'm into weird shit. Sorry. No, I'm sorry, Bob. I don't know. So you're not into that. That's what I'm into. You got a problem? You fucking shaming my shit, man? So they said the food residues found in Ellen's stomach were identified as intact linguine, clam, and tomato sauce. She had linguine, clam, and tomato sauce for lunch on Friday with 3 of her coworkers, they found out 5 years later.
Oh, God.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, when Blackout aired on TV, Ed was out to dinner with Ellen. No, with Ellen.
Oh.
They have a receipt from dinner at that time, but who knows if he taped it? We don't know if he taped it. So let's see. Experiments were conducted to determine whether the digestion rate of the linguine with clam sauce, which was found to take approximately 4 hours to complete digestion. This finding's inconsistent with the original determined time of death. So review of the crime scene videotape was carried out also, and a view of the air conditioner was shown on the tape. The temperature setting on the air conditioner was at high, and ice residue could be seen covering the vent, which means it's about to freeze over and not work well.
It's going to quit.
So they said an estimate was made by conducting experiments with living volunteers who ate pasta with clam sauce and regurgitated some of their stomach contents until all the pasta was gone from their stomach. So
what is happening?
Henry Lee is having people rip panties off a woman, and also
vomit in cups.
Having people eat a bunch of linguine and then vomit at different intervals. This is bonkers.
Henry Lee,
wow.
Get it together, you fucking psychopath.
This is weird. Using the average time to empty the stomach, he was able to provide an independent estimate of the time between eating lunch and the time of death. The estimate based on digestion was within the revised time, so he could have killed her before he left, is what they're saying there. So they said, well, we fixed it. It's all good. All fits now. So now another thing that comes up, this comes out, and some of the players, the friends, hear about this. Oh, they said that now it's physically possible that Ed could have done it in the time period. So now, remember Kristen, the 8-year-old who was pissed off she couldn't use the phone?
That son of a bitch.
She comes forward in June of 1990. She was riding in her father's car, and they were talking about the murder for some reason, a 5-year-old murder with your 13-year-old daughter that was 8 when it happened. And Kristen said, yeah, I remember that. A detective came and talked to us. I don't remember his name, blah, blah, blah. She said, I said I did, but he didn't seem, they said, do you have any information? She said, I said I did, but he didn't seem too interested in talking to the kid. wasn't listening to her, even though she said she had information. Turns out she had been in the living room listening to her mother on the phone talk to her grandmother. She was spying on the extension because she wanted to use the phone, so she was seeing if it was going to wrap up soon.
Yeah.
So when she stayed on it, and so she overheard Ed using the phone. She was on the other extension. She said, because it was her turn next, so she was there. She figured she'd wait in line. So when her mom hung up, she went up to the parents' room and picked up the extension to hear when this guy would finish. The thing is, she said that, quote, he was talking to a ringing phone. He was like, yeah, honey, so blah, 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 blah. She wasn't there, the little girl said. The little girl said it was ringing the whole time. She said he was talking to a ringing phone, and I thought it was strange, so I just kept listening. He was saying, if you need anything, go to the neighbors. He said, I have to go. Everybody is leaving. So she thinks she listened to about 3/4 of the conversation. She said he said, I love you too, as if somebody had said, I love you to him. She said, I love you too. So they said, the father said, can I tell the police this? And she said, yeah, tell the police.
Yeah.
So August 31st, 1990 is when they arrest Ed here. They arrest him at trial, obviously. This is years later, number one, and based on some pretty specious calculations.
And your star witness is a 13-year-old who was 8 at the time that
yes,
may or may not have heard this. We don't know what she heard.
An 8-year-old and somebody saying that it feels cold as a refrigerator. That's what you're basing this. Literally, that's what you're basing this on.
And Henry Lee's weird experiment.
Henry Lee's strange sexual weird puking. And, he gets off on puking, too. That's what he's into.
It seems like it, yeah.
He's into, throw it up a little more. Oh, yeah. When there's little pieces of linguine in it, it turns me on. Chocolate chip milkshakes. This has been a disgusting episode. So they said that they talk about the rigidity of rigor and how it can last longer or sooner, and the fact that the room was very cold and all of that kind of shit. So the defense says that the state's theory of guilt is premised on physically impossible facts and conclusions regarding the time of death. They assert, first of all, the unrebutted and unchallenged testimony establishes that it was mechanically. They put up a mechanic, an air conditioner guy, bring in an HVAC guy, and he determined that it was mechanically impossible for an air conditioner similar to the one in the bedroom to lower a room's temperature below about 70 degrees if the temperature was 80 degrees outside, which is the fact. He maintains that after 2.5 days, the time claimed by the state between the time of death and the autopsy, also, they said that the fetus would be in a more advanced condition of maceration than it was.
Oh.
The mother's body would start to,
Yeah.
So they said, though, so that was two different things there. Ed testifies, talks about his marriage and all that kind of shit. Jury didn't like that.
I'm sure.
He had to be honest about all that stuff because it's already in the his interviews with the police, so they didn't like that at all. In the paper, they said that many thought that Sherman was intelligent but was well rehearsed and arrogant on the stand. Not good at all. Cross-examination here, they kept him on the stand for like 8 days of cross-examination. Oh yeah.
Torture.
Oh yeah. They went through for a whole day. They went through the contents of his refrigerator. That's fucking wild for like hours.
Rip his pubes out one by one in front of everybody. This is horrible.
About a half gallon of low-fat milk, a stick of butter, Pepto-Bismol, all this type of shit.
Your expired ketchup, you son of a bitch.
You fucking lazy bastard. Mustard does expire. Yes, it does. About a 6-pack of Coors that was in there and all this type of shit. So during cross-examination, here's what happens, by the way, that they bring up. Right after Ed, after this all happened, a couple days, 2 days later, he flew to St. Louis to see Nancy, to meet up with Nancy.
You can't do that, man.
So the prosecutor said, so tell us, your wife is bleeding and goes to the goes to the hospital, and you buy an airline ticket to go to Illinois or St. Louis that same day. Do you have enough sympathy for your wife on Tuesday to say, well, maybe I better keep away from the woman whom I'm having an affair with for a while to try to, make this look better? So he tries a literary reference. This is his big thing here.
Because he's a Mensa man.
Yeah, he's referring to Paradise Lost by Milton there, and he mistakenly does it, though. He gives a wrong reference, saying he was in purgatory because of the lengthy questioning. And his attorney actually referred to, I said, actually, it's Dante defined comedy is what you're talking about. And they fucking, it's like, sure, he didn't like that. He tells the court, wife accepted the affair. Things were going just swell. Everything was fine. So they kept him on the stand for so long. Other attorneys said that they've never seen a person on the stand for 9 days getting fucking cross-exam. Yeah.
Just pummeled.
They had their own experts. Like I said, they had the engineer about the air conditioning. They also had a guy who was that they did not allow to testify the court, who was a forensic guy who was talking about the baby and how if Ellen had actually died on Friday, regardless of the temperature of the room, the baby would be in a much greater state of maceration than it was. Mm-hmm. So then he was. So in the closing, the prosecutor says he knew he couldn't have Nancy Prescott and his wife, Ellen. He couldn't carry on his lifestyle.
Right.
Yeah, because they said, Ellen said, you can have your sailboat and your fucking, and your girlfriend, and that's all you're going to get. You can fuck off. So he is found guilty of murder. Guilty. Yeah. Yes. Found guilty of murder. During sentencing, Ed still won't admit he did it.
Really?
No. He said, quote, she deserved a better life than the one she shared with me. For that, I will be eternally sorry.
What about the murder dog?
Nope. Then turns to the 19-year-old at the time daughter, Jessica, and says how much she reminded him of her mother and all that, which is terrible. And he said, you've lost your mother, your brother, who was never born, and now your father. Won't admit to the murder. The judge says, he's got a little more to say, he says, this is a particularly brutal offense, both the hands-on strangulation of the young pregnant woman and the use of a ligature, and says, you, sir, may fuck off 50 years in prison. For you. The maximum was 60. I don't know what you have to do to get the maximum, but
I guess you got to rape in two.
Fuck. They said the court considers the recidivism rate high here, so the 50-year sentence was the same given to a man who was found guilty of killing his wife and putting her through a wood chipper a couple years ago.
Holy shit.
Same thing. They do set a $350,000 appeal bond, so if he can get a fucking bond up, he can stay free through appeal, which is insane for a fucking murder case where you've been sentenced to 50 years.
Murked his wife.
Jesus. So some jurors believed testimony. They said that some might have. The jurors went back and forth. They were confused, a lot of them, on it, but they ended up siding there. And then during the appeal, Ed appeals, and it is denied on prosecutorial misconduct and all sorts of shit like that. Then he appeals again. During this appeal, January 1996, Ed dies of a heart attack in prison. So didn't really matter anyway.
That's
dead. Ed's dead. Ed's dead, baby. Ed's dead. So there you go. He's dead. That's that.
Wow. What a fucking ride, man.
That is Niantic, Connecticut, everybody. Holy shit.
Oh, there's not a theme park in the world that builds a roller coaster like that one. Jesus.
Everybody out there, discuss amongst yourselves on the social media and shit, because there is so much to talk about.
Holy shit.
If you love that story, you love the show, get on whatever app you're listening on and give us 5 stars. It does help a lot. Helps drive us up the charts, so thank you for doing that. Follow us on social media. We are at Small Town Murder on Instagram, at Murder Small on Twitter, at Small Town Pod on Facebook. ShutUpAndGiveMeMurder.com is the place to get all of your tickets for everything, especially May 5th in Detroit, May 6th in Pittsburgh, 420, April 20th, virtual live show, getting Jimmie fucking stoned and telling him a crazy murder story. You can watch it just like a regular live show, all the pictures, everything like that, just right from your living room. You could have seen ligature marks if you really were tuned into that. So get in there, do that. Also, like I said, get your tickets for the rest of the year, Chicago, Dallas, fucking Atlanta, Charlotte, whatever the hell. Get in there, do that. Also, patreon.com/crime and sports. $5 or above will get you a huge back catalog of bonus shit and new bonus shit. 2 new bonus shits every other week. 1 crime and sports, 1 small town murder. You have access to it all this week. What you are going to get is personal ads for crime and sports. People in the newspapers in the 80s. People like Ed. Swingers looking for extras. Looking for a third. People like that. How do they sell each other? How do you date in the 80s? We'll find out. weirdly through the newspaper. So check all that out. And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to dip back into the Serial Killer Childhood series. And we are going to talk a lot about the BTK Killer Childhood, or BTK, because killer is redundant there. BTK's childhood, a lot of it in his own words, which is so creepy. Hearing about him wanting to snuggle with his mom and shit is extra creepy. So you definitely want to hear that. That's patreon.com/crime in sports. And of course, you'll get that shout out at the end of the regular show where Jimmie will absolutely fuck your name up unrecognizably, but you'll enjoy it. So that said, keep coming back, buy your tickets, come see us, and obviously come see us always. And listen to Crime in Sports if you're not listening to Crime in Sports, because it's fucking good, goddammit.
Yeah.
So check it out. Listen.
We're in the midst of a trilogy.
It's an insane crime trilogy. So check that out and keep coming back and seeing us each and every week. And until next week, everybody, it has been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus